A history of heroes, a world built by legends. Long before Powers Harbor rose from the Pacific coast, long before the Guardian soared above the clouds, humanity told stories of beings who walked among mortals with the power of gods: Hercules, Thor, Achilles, the Monkey King, King Arthur, Ginny and Arcturus. Heroes and monsters, saints and warriors, were they myths or the earliest echoes of something real? As the centuries passed, these figures faded into legend, but the idea of the extraordinary never left us. Masks in the shadows. History remembers other heroes, not divine, but determined. Men and women who fought injustice with nothing but courage, cunning, and a mask to hide their names. They were symbols of resistance in a world without superpowers. But change was coming. The last heroes of the old world, even into the 19th century, the tradition endured. The cavalier rode across the frontier. Vermilion Vixen defended the oppressed with a flash of her crimson blade. Sherlock Holmes unraveled the impossible. Wong Fei Hung became a legend of justice in China. They were the final champions of a world still bound by natural law. The Tunguska Secret. In 1908, the world changed, though few understood it at the time. The Tunguska explosion was no meteor. It was an interdimensional rupture, and at its heart, investigators found something impossible: a glowing metallic liquid that responded to human thought. Tunguskite. Nations raced to control it. None realized they were opening the door to a new age. The night crawlers. The 1930s saw a new breed of hero. The costumed vigilante, the conscience, the crimson dragon, the whisper, the blue ace, the black spider. They fought crime in the shadows, unaware that something far greater was about to arrive. In 1939, the world witnessed the impossible. The Guardian, a being who could fly, lift buildings, and survive tank cannons. He claimed to be chosen by an extra-dimensional entity, a protector of Earth. The age of gods had returned. The war of superhumans. The 1940s erupted with new super beings. Maxima of Lemuria, the Timekeeper, dozens more. Together with the Guardian, they formed the Liberty Defenders. World War II became a conflict not just of nations, but of superhumans. The Allied heroes faced the Axis Übermensch, beings forged in laboratories and dark rituals. The world would never be the same. The Sunset Bay event in 1944, disaster struck the Pacific coast. A failed interdimensional transport weapon tore open reality itself. The blast created a massive crater that filled with seawater, and in its wake, a new substance was discovered: American Tunguskite. From it, scientists forged a quantum metal unlike anything on Earth. Mysterium, the cold peace after the war. The world grew wary of its own champions. Registration laws tightened. Costumed heroes vanished. Aegis was formed to control and contain superhuman activity. The Guardian withdrew to his orbital citadel, watching the Earth from afar. Spies, shadows, and secret wars. The 60s brought a new kind of conflict. Super beings became covert operatives. Aegis fought a silent war against the global terrorist network known as the Eclipse Cabal. Meanwhile, street-level heroes returned, quieter, grittier, grounded. The Invaders. By the 1970s, Earth faced threats from beyond the stars and between dimensions. The Guardian could not stand alone. The greatest threat came from Zoxox, a being who sought to drain the world of its souls. His defeat came not from strength, but from compassion. A young telepath named Mary Gold, aka Flower Child, changed him forever when her psychic mind meld turned Zoxox, the ultimate destroyer, into a cosmic force for love and acceptance. The world was saved, but at the cost of her own sanity. Her sacrifice would become one of history's strangest blessings and greatest annoyances, for the arrival of Zoxox, once a portent of planetary doom, now heralds a global display of love and affection, truth and sharing, lasting several days, whether the inhabitants want it or not. The age of vigilantes, the 1980s, saw the rise of violent masked vigilantes. Eliminator, the Butcher, the Triggerman. Gritty urban streets, masked figures with heavy weaponry. They fought crime with brutal efficiency and little regard for the law. The return of the superhero. The 1990s brought a renaissance. Registration laws fell. The Cold War ended, and super beings stepped back into the light. Aegis formed Vanguard X, a global network of super teams with international authority. Each team carried a number. Each stood ready to face crises anywhere on Earth. This was the decade of Captain Freedom. The Blue Jay, former sidekick of the Conscience, and Fairy Princess, mistress of Fey magic. Above them all, the Guardian watched from orbit. Older, wiser, and more distant. The new millennium. The new century began with a tragedy. The death of the beloved hero Captain Freedom at the hands of Atomicus. But out of that tragedy was born inspiration and hope, and a new generation of heroes. Vanguard 5 stands watch over Powers Harbor, Cosmic Storm, Maximus, Shield Maiden, String Theory, the Kyle, and Wounded Knee. Inspired by their role models, the Ultra Teens formed a team of young superheroes. Kid America, Kid Knight, Kid Strange, El Fuego Negro, and Vesper. Together they balanced saving the city with graduating high school. The Ultra Teens eventually grew up and became adult heroes in their own right. The young American fights terrorism as an agent of Aegis. The Templar travels the world fighting the cult of Baphomet. El Fuego Negro protects Mexico City, and Vesper pushes the limits of hard light force field technology as an inventor and entrepreneur. And rising behind them, the Ultras Initiative. Young, unproven, ambitious, Glitch, Gadget, Meltdown, Catatonic, and Patchwork, heroes in the making. In Los Angeles, one can find the fiery hero, Hot Damn. Meanwhile, the city of San Francisco is protected by the independent super team known as the Alternatives. Other heroes include Mothmaid and Cooper the Police Dog. But the world is not without danger. Old threats such as the Eclipse Cabal, Atomicus, and the cult of Baphomet lurk in the shadows, while new evils such as the Terra Team, the Extremes, and the Misfits of Physics rise to the fore. New threats for a new age. The story continues. From mythic gods to masked vigilantes, from wartime champions to interdimensional guardians, the story of Powers Harbor is the story of humanity's greatest hopes and greatest fears. And as long as threats rise from the shadows, from the stars, or from beyond reality itself, heroes will rise to meet them.